German Grand Prix 1973, the last of the great Jackie Stewart's 27 victories, which made him the greatest of all time. 8 years later, Alain Prost won his first Grand Prix in France, the beginning of a succession of wins which here today at Monaco could surpass Jackie's record.
To be winner of more Grand Prix than any driver in the history of motorsport is something that I'm very proud of. But I knew it had to be beaten. Records are made to be beaten. Alain Prost at the present time, in my opinion, is the finest Grand Prix driver in the world, probably the finest race driver in the world, and therefore I'm very happy that it's him that's taking it and not someone who I would not have been proud to have it.
Welcome to Monaco, scene of the most glamorous and charismatic Grand Prix of the year. A race with a character all of its own, which for the last 3 years has been won by Alain Prost, the man who leads this year's Drivers' Championship ahead of his teammate Stefan Johansson, with Nigel Mansell third, Piquet and Senna tying for fourth, and Alboreto sixth. And it's Prost's team, McLaren, who dominate the Constructors' Championship, a massive 15 points ahead of last year's winners, Williams. 2 weeks ago, there was a controversial incident in Belgium between Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell. So let's get the record straight on that.
Yes, certainly controversial, and so were my remarks at the time in the heat of battle. And I have to say that I did Ayrton Senna a serious injustice as I saw it as it happened live when I got home. And I was able to look at the videotape recording of the incident and play it backwards and forwards. I misjudged the situation. The facts of the matter were, when reviewed carefully, that it was really Nigel Mansell who certainly started the incident. He attacked really very unwisely and tried to go around the outside. And I still maintain, and I think that Senna had plenty of warning that Mansell's intentions were aggressive and could have avoided it, but he certainly didn't start the incident, as I implied then. So I eat humble pie and stand corrected.
And I agree with every word he says. The Grand Prix authorities are really cracking down on bad driving this season. In Belgium, the Frenchman Pascal Fabre, who drives an AJS, was disciplined for not using his driving mirrors. And here at Monaco, Christian Danner, the German, in the Zach Speed, was disqualified for causing a massive accident with Michele Alboreto's Ferrari in practice. Monaco is especially demanding, and Alain Prost is more than concerned about the fact that this year the number of starters being permitted is being dramatically increased.
Putting 26 cars this year is the worst they could do, because you know as well as me that this year we have a big difference of speed and power between cars. We have atmospheric engine and turbocharged engine, and also the worst drivers driving the worst cars, and they are not looking in the mirrors and have no experience, which is bad for us, and I think it's too risky.
Alain Prost says he's concerned about the slower 3.5-litre non-turbo cars, but Ken Tyrrell disagrees with him.
The engine response is better than a turbo, the car's much lighter, and especially in the race where the car starts. We shall start here probably just over 200 pounds lighter than the turbos. So we will in fact be even closer to them in the race than we are in practice.
So in pole position on the grid, Nigel Mansell, whose fastest lap in practice was exactly 90 miles an hour. Just behind him, second on the grid, Ayrton Senna, and in third position is Nigel Mansell's teammate Nelson Piquet. Alain Prost, the man who has won for the last 3 years and is the reigning world champion, is fourth on the grid, ahead of Michele Alboreto's Ferrari, and in a strong sixth position, Eddie Cheever in the Arrows Megatron. Only only 24 on the grid. Christian Danner non-starting and Campos non-starting. This is the crucial time of the Monaco Grand Prix, the first corner. Watch the lights in the top left corner of your screen. Red, and then less than 7 seconds later, the green will go. The Monaco Grand Prix for 78 laps will be on. And Mansell takes the lead, followed by Senna, Piquet, Prost and Alboreto. And Mansell and Senna and Piquet and the Ferrari and then Prost are through Sandoval safely. Thank heaven for that. It looks as though the rest of them are too. And that is a blessing, because all too often in the past, as I said, no, that is Philippe Alliot who has spun, the man who was so quick, and Nakajima is in trouble, but it is Mansell as he goes out of Casino Square, down to Lowe's hairpin. Nigel Mansell, who has dominated practice, and that is Nakajima, the Japanese driver in the Lotus, with the camera on his car. And so often we have problems with the camera, but there is Mansell leading on lap 1 into the tunnel, followed by Ayrton Senna. This is up into 6th gear here. Then they come into the sunlight, down to the chicane for the first time. And Mansell is doing as he did in Belgium, building up a handy lead with Piquet 3rd, Alboreto is 4th, Prost has gone down to 5th, Eddie Cheever is still 6th, Johansson is in 7th place. And Nigel Mansell in the very powerful Williams Honda with its fuel-efficient engine leads round the swimming pool.
And Alboreto is really charging. He's already passed Prost, who's having a look for a way around Piquet. Tremendous start by Mansell.
Mansell through to complete a lap, then Senna, Piquet, Alboreto 4th, Prost 5th, Cheever 6th, Johansson 7th, and Boutsen going extremely well in 8th position, round the right-hander at Sandoval, up the hill, and Mansell, who is seemingly in a class of his own these days. Look at the lead he's built up on the 2nd lap. He seems to be anxious to prove that he is the man, and who can blame him? There is Alain Prost, and Eddie Cheever is swarming over Alain Prost's gearbox now, metaphorically speaking, with Gerhard Berger right behind him. And the two Ferraris have had a lot of work done on them. They have a new suspension set up here, they have a new under tray to help the aerodynamics, and they're going well, despite the fact that Berger had a big crash in practice. And the race order now on this, the 4th lap, Nigel Mansell leading, Ayrton Senna in 2nd position, Nelson Piquet is 3rd, Michele Alboreto is 4th, Prost there is 5th, Eddie Cheever is in 6th place, in 7th position is Berger. Now Mansell has really pulled out the lead. Nearly 3 seconds as he rounds Lowe's hairpin, goes down towards the Portier. This is the Portier, underneath the elevated roadway. Derek Warwick is in 9th position. Jonathan Palmer, an excellent 15th in the 3.5-litre Tyrrell. Martin Brundle in the Zach Speed is in 17th position. And here's the race leader. And Boutsen out already. Oh dear, Thierry Boutsen out of the Monaco Grand Prix. Mansell, who improves almost race by race, has now got a commanding lead. 5 seconds is an excellent cushion. There is the Lotus of Ayrton Senna, the cool Brazilian. And there's some adjustments made to the active ride suspension by Peter Wright and his colleagues after practice yesterday, which certainly resulted in a very significant improvement in the performance of this Ayrton Senna number 12 Lotus Honda.
Prost is starting to look for a way around Alboreto now.
Alboreto, who is in 4th place in the Ferrari, and this is where he had his accident with Danner, and as James says, Prost is easing away from Cheever, who is in 6th position, closing up on the rear wing of the Ferrari of Michele Alboreto. That's Cheever in the Arrows Megatron, and Arrows are in 6th position in the world in the Constructors' Championship. Now you can see the pressure. Johansson is in trouble. Stefan Johansson, who was in 12th position, has lost 4 places. It looks as though one of the McLarens, that of Stefan Johansson, is dropping back. And one of the 2 Tyrrells, so Thierry Boutsen is out, Philippe Streff is out on lap 10 in this 78 lap race, and you can see that the right front wheel is missing.
Brussels is starting to get a little bit anxious now about getting past Alboreto. We've already said it's no easy matter overtaking here, but the leaders are getting away.
There, the yellow flags are waving as Nannini goes through in the only Minardi in the race, and he is in 12th position. Well, Streff out of the car, that's a blessing anyway, and I noticed the crane, which is strategically placed there, is all ready to haul the Tyrrell away. Mansell leading. Warwick in the Arrows is in 8th place. Jonathan Palmer is 13th and leading the 3.5 litre class, and Martin Brundle is 16th in the Zach speed. There's Fabre, about to be lapped by the battle for 4th between Alboreto. Now, is Fabre going to get in the way? He's been warned. He isn't. He's warned in Belgium for not using his mirrors, and he's shot sideways as though he was attached to the Armco by a rubber band. This is Nakajima. You are riding with Satoru Nakajima in the Lotus Honda now. Behind him, and he waves his hand to the right to say, pass me to the right, and Alboreto and Prost need no second invitation. Zap, they are through, and that has given Prost his opportunity. Now he might just get through as they come up to Saint-Avold. This is one of the few places they can get through, and Alboreto knows that, of course. He's a master of passing there himself, and he holds the Frenchman off. You look across the harbour. See the big towering red crane ready to pluck a car away from the chicane if it goes off there, and this is the leader, Nigel Mansell.
Mansell really looks very smooth indeed. He's always liked street circuits, always done well at Monte Carlo, and he really looks very happy in his work. He's steadily building up a lead. He's not appearing to have to push.
And the race order now on lap 19 is Mansell leading, Senna second, Piquet third, the 2 Williams Hondas then first and third. Michele Alboreto in 4th position, still holding off Alain Prost 5th. Cheever 6th, right behind Prost, and Berger 7th, right behind Cheever. Derek Warwick is in 8th position, but Tracy is 9th. Furious blue flags, and Arnoux runs wide, lets Mansell through. And that's Johansson in the red-white McLaren that Nigel Mansell is about to lap, and Johansson is in 2nd place in the World Championship. So there's a bit of irony. Into the tunnel, 160 miles an hour now, building up speed. It comes out of it at 175 now. Brakes hard. From 6th gear down to 1st. There's Philippe Fabre. He's already been lapped. He's in 19th position. He's about to be lapped the 2nd time and has been. The comparatively inexperienced Frenchman in the French-built AGS. Mansell now up to Ginzani, who is 20th, who moves over up to the Ratcat. Mansell goes through his majestic progress. No other way to describe it. Now, this is the 4th place battle behind Mansell, Senna and Piquet. And as you see, Prost is mounting another attack. He's taking a deep breath and he's having a go at the Ferrari.
Yes, same old problem. Over 20 laps now, he's been stuck behind Alboreto. Alboreto very much aware of that. His tactics will be surely to not rush, make sure he makes no mistakes.
towards the Mirabeau corner. Stefan Johansson in the McLaren with its tag engine sees the Williams Honda of Nigel Mansell, the leader, large in his mirrors, moves over and lets it through. Mansell has already lapped Nakajima, Ginzani, who's 2 laps behind him in 19th place, and Fabre, who is 2 laps behind him in 20th position. And it's going to be very, very important to both Mansell and Senna that their pit crews, when they change tyres, waste the minimum of time. Senna is 10.2 seconds behind Mansell, 14 seconds ahead of Piquet, who is 12 seconds ahead of Alboreto, who is 2 seconds now ahead of Prost, so Prost is dropping back a bit. Chiva is 3 seconds behind Prost, but only 1 second ahead of Berger, who is only 1 second ahead of Derek Warwick. So great scrap going on for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th places, with Riccardo Patrese 9th, Barbie 10th, Cathy 11th, Jonathan Palmer 12th, and Capelli is holding on to Mansell extremely well. Capelli in the 3.5 litre march.
I think Mansell may be in a little bit of trouble. I can't see what's wrong, but he seems to have slowed right down, and Senna is catching him, and Mansell is in trouble. So Mansell in some sort of trouble. Senna, you saw, just going through the tunnel then, closing up, about to take the lead.
Lap 30, and Nigel Mansell is about to lose the lead to Senna. Senna goes through, and the Brazilian in the Lotus Honda moves into the lead at the Monaco Grand Prix on lap 30. What has gone wrong with Nigel Mansell? We can expect to see him come out of the swimming pool, into the Rascasse, and then into the pits. So the thing that Ayrton Senna has no doubt been praying for inside his cockpit has happened. Something has gone wrong with Nigel Mansell's Williams Honda. Indeed, he comes into the pits, and Senna has gone through in the lead. There are the Williams mechanics ready to receive him. Is it going to be more than a tyre change? Mansell looks up and shouts something at his race engineer. He's already lost first place. And this is a very slow pit stop. It's more than tyres, no doubt at all about that. Nigel Mansell, having led from the lights turning to green until lap 29, looks as though he may be out of the Monaco Grand Prix. What tragic luck.
Yes, whatever it is, it looks pretty serious. They got the engine cover off. Mansell has really already been there much too long to remain in contention. And he's getting out of the car, so it's all over for Nigel Mansell. A great shame, a very assured drive. He drove well within himself and was controlling the race very nicely from the front, and his cars let him down.
And everybody's heart must go out to Nigel Mansell, who had driven superbly. He had built and maintained a cushion between himself and the race leader, now Ayrton Senna, was controlling the race from the front, and it looks like an engine problem. Senna now is leading Nelson Piquet by 16 seconds. Michele Alboreto is up to third, and he is 12 seconds behind Piquet, but he is only 1 second now ahead of Prost, who is fourth. Eddie Cheever is 7 seconds behind Prost in fifth place, and 3 seconds ahead of Derek Warwick, who is sixth now. And into the pits, I think, is going Alboreto. Yes, indeed. Michele Alboreto goes into the pits. Now, let's see how long his pit stop takes. Start the watch. A swarm of Ferrari mechanics behind him, and Prost has gone up into third position, of course. Out goes Alboreto. I made it 8.3 seconds. They made it just over 9. And that's a very good stop. And the reason that Nigel Mansell retired is that he had a broken turbocharger, and that figures because you saw how he slowed but still kept going. And since he couldn't proceed at racing speed with the lack of boost and therefore a gigantic diminution in horsepower, out of the race went Nigel Mansell. Into the lead went Ayrton Senna. Up to second went Piquet. Up to third went Alboreto, who has now gone into the pits and out again, so third is Prost.
Yes, it'll be very interesting to see now that Prost has got a clear run in front of him. just whether he can make any impression on Nelson Piquet. The gap at the moment is some 14 seconds.
And since Nelson Piquet is in my sight now, I will give you the gap. It was 14 seconds between second place man Nelson Piquet and the new third place man Alain Prost. There he is, the man who's won for the last 3 years. And into the pits goes Prost. Ron Dennis there in the background. And they're telling others to get out of the way, and a superb stop by the McLaren team, just under 8 seconds, which was at minimum a second faster than that of Michele Alboreto. And through goes Eddie Cheever in third position. Eddie Cheever in the Arrows Megatron is third. And as you look at the leader now on his 39th lap, he is some 21 seconds ahead of Nelson Piquet, with Eddie Cheever in third position, with Alain Prost in fourth place. Derek Warwick is fifth, and then the two Ferraris of Berger and Alboreto, sixth and seventh. And the race leader, Senna, has lapped everybody up to the seventh place man, Michele Alboreto. Eighth, though, although he has been lapped, is Theo Fabi, his teammate Boutsen out of the race, of course. Ninth is Jonathan Palmer, the Englishman who is inching his way up towards the points and may well finish in them. And there's the Ferrari of Gerhard Berger. Of course, his teammate Michele Alboreto has already been in. The gap between Senna and Piquet now 21.5 seconds. The Brabham of Riccardo Patrese has just coasted into the pits in front of me. Place one, lap 39 is what's shown on the Lotus team board as you look at Nelson Piquet going through the swimming pool area in second position.
What is interesting is the two leaders have not yet made their tyre stops, whether they're going to try and go the distance, and there goes Piquet. So Piquet's in for tyres because it seems on the late side we're at half distance now. That was a good stop by the Williams team. Piquet smokes his way out of the pit, lighting up those rear tyres, get them spinning a bit, get some heat into them.
The retired Nigel Mansell still has the consolation of knowing that he's put up the fastest lap. Let me quickly explain this to you. Senna is the purple dot, Piquet is the red one, Cheever is the green one, Prost is the yellow one, and that shows you where they are on the lap. Thus, Senna comes up towards the swimming pool area behind Arnoux to lap him again.
Yes, Senna staying out this long makes me suspect that he's possibly going to try and do the whole race on one set of tyres. We had an idea that Cheever wants to do that. Cheever is currently holding down third place. And Senna into the pit. So Senna is making his tyre stop, albeit rather late. He's the last of the front runners to stop. Fantastic stop as well. The Lotus team, Formula One teams really are very, very good at changing tyres now. Anything over 10 seconds is considered to be a bit of a disaster. And Ayrton Senna, a nice comfortable 9 seconds, got a good comfortable lead, and back on his way again.
On his way to his 5th Grand Prix win, if he finishes the distance where he is now. It seems strange to think that he's only won 4 Grand Prix, but this is only his 50th Grand Prix, 16 pole positions, 4 wins, and so on. 112 points, and if he adds 9 to the 6 he already has, it will significantly improve his World Championship chances this year, and it will be the first Lotus active suspension victory. He's had pole positions this year, a pole position, Senna, but meantime Alboreto has got past Derek Warwick up into 5th place. The Ferrari is still running well, and on lap 43 with 35 to go, including the one they are on, it is Ayrton Senna that you look at, leading the Monaco Grand Prix from Nelson Piquet, some 35 or 40 seconds ahead of him now. 3rd position is still Eddie Cheever. 4th position is still Alain Prost. 5th now is Michele Alboreto. 6th and still in the points, Derek Warwick in the Arrows. 7th but not yet lapped is Berger in the 2nd Ferrari. And out of the race goes Alex Caffey after a fine drive. And this is the battle for 3rd place between Eddie Cheever and Alain Prost, numbers 18 and 1 that you are looking at, with Seth, Ayrton Senna and Nelson Piquet, the 2 Brazilians, in the lead ahead of them. Behind them in 5th place, Michele Alboreto. 6th is Warwick, 7th is Berger, 8th is Jonathan Palmer, getting closer and closer to the points in his Tyrrell, in the leading the 3.5 litre class. Nakajima has been building an extremely favourable reputation for himself this season as the first Japanese Grand Prix driver, and he finished in 7th place in Brazil. He finished 6th in San Marino in the points. He finished 5th in Belgium in the points. He's running well now on his first drive at Monaco in 13th place, and we've still got a long way to go. Lap 51. Senna leads, Piquet 2nd, Cheever 3rd, Prost 4th, there they are. Alboreto 5th, Berger the last man in the points 6th. Warwick out of the points now 7th. Palmer in 8th position, leading the 3.5 litre race, 1 lap behind the leader. Capelli is in 9th place, Johansson is 10th, Martin Brundle is 11th, and Prost is going for it.
And Eddie Cheever appeared to make a little mistake there, a little bit slow out of the rust cast, but he's held on in front. Prost was looking for a way round. And it looks like his moment has passed. Still you see that little bit of face coming off the arrows as he goes over the brow of the hill. He's been doing it every lap. And Prost now looking down the inside, and Prost finally has managed to find a way past. That is the first overtaking manoeuvre he's made in the whole race. So Alain Prost moves up to 3rd place. He's some about 20 seconds behind Nelson Piquet. So we'll watch that gap and see if he can do anything about working into the lead. And there we go again, out of the Mirabeau, out of the Casino Square rather, down to the Mirabeau, under braking. And Prost finally struggles by.
And Eddie Cheever into the pits for his tyres. Let's see how the Arrows team compare.
And that looks a bit like the gamble that hasn't paid off, because I know Cheever was hoping to go the distance, but by changing so late, he certainly hasn't made the best use of the available tyres. So there's Ayrton Senna looking very comfortable now, no longer having to push hard, watching only the gap, and the mechanics, or the mechanical areas of his car, trying to protect the car. He will cut down the revs on the engine a little bit. He'll be trying not to bounce it on the curbs, as you see there, not using all the road.
And on lap 52, Michele Alboreto has moved up into 4th place ahead of Eddie Cheever, and the race order is Senna leading Piquet. There is Senna by 24 seconds. The Lotus Honda leads the Williams Honda. 3rd position, Alain Prost. 4th position, Michele Alboreto. Down to 5th following that pit stop goes Eddie Cheever, and in 6th position now it's Gerhard Berger still, with Derek Warwick in 7th place, Palmer 8th, Capelli 9th, Johansson still 10th, with Brundle on the same lap as Johansson in 11th place, and Farby 2 only lapped once in 12th position. With Nakajima, that's the left-hander before the pool. Now he's going into the pool area. Watch his right hand as he changes gear. Now he's coming down to La Rascasse. Watch his hand as he goes down through the box into first gear, down to 30 miles an hour as he stands on the brakes. Now he exits. You'll see his pit board very shortly. Look for the yellow pit board of Satoru Nakajima. There it is. He's now coming up to Sandervoort, and that's a 70 miles an hour corner. He accelerates up. Watch his hand again. Third, fourth, fifth. And what's happening here? Let's have a look. This is a replay as Johansson in the smoking McLaren is passed by Theo Fabi in the Benetton and retires, does he? Yes, he's turning off the course. If you go like that, you run straight into the middle of Monaco. Stefan Johansson is obviously out. Both the Brabhams are out, the Cesaris and Patrese. Boutsen is out, Stress out. Of course, Nigel Mansell is out. And with Ayrton Senna now on his 61st lap out of 78, the race order is Senna, Piquet, Prost, Alboreto, Chiva and Berger. Warwick is 7th, Palmer is still 8th, Capelli is still 9th, Brundle is still in 10th position. Johansson has lost his 11th place, of course, now to Theo Fabi that you saw going through, and that means to say that Nakajima, still plugging away, has moved up into 12th position, and that's Derek Warwick. Derek Warwick out. I don't know why. Oh, poor Derek Warwick. He really does have the most appalling luck. Now that's Eddie Cheever's car. Well, this is incredible because in the twinkling of an eye, have they come together? That is the Café de Paris, which as you can see is being knocked down. You've seen Warwick walking away. That is Cheever's car. So both the arrows are obviously out. Cheever from his place, 5th position, and Warwick out of 7th place, and that is changing things considerably because now on the 62nd lap, that means that Palmer has moved up into the points, leading the 3.5 metre class, and the order is Senna, Piquet, Prost, Alboreto is 4th, Berger is 5th, and now Palmer is in 6th position with Capelli in 7th place, and Martin Brundle has moved up into 8th position.
Piquet is starting to have to respond to Prost's challenge. Prost has now got down to 12 seconds behind him, and a bit of a slide there from Senna. That looks like a little bit of a mistake. He held it together, and that I think really demonstrates just how tiring this race is physically.
That's Prost. He's going jolly slowly. Is Prost in? Is Prost in? Yes, indeed he is. Prost in trouble.
Yes, looks all over for Prost. Smoke coming from the bottom of the car at the back. So, almost within sight of the finish line. Alan Prost looks to be out of the race. He's parking the car. So that moves Michele Alboreto up to 3rd place, Berger into 4th, and Jonathan Palmer up into 5th place.
I thought something like this would happen. It always does in the closing stages, and this, of course, is going to have a very dramatic effect on the World Championship situation, because Prost is not going to get those 4 points. It means that he will be finishing on 18, only 3 points ahead of the man you're looking at, Ayrton Senna, who, if he finishes first, will be on 15, with Stefan Johansson 3rd on 13, Piquet 4th on 12, Mansell 5th on 10, and Alboreto, who in the Ferrari is still in 3rd place, will be 6th with 8 points. It's getting closer all the time, and it's getting closer to the finish for Ayrton Senna there. I recap that Alain Prost is out of the Monaco Grand Prix, having seemingly blown his tag engine or a turbo, and it means to say that Jonathan Palmer then moves up to 5th position to get 2 World Championship points. Martin Brundle moves up to 7th place in the Zach Speed, and that's a better finish than Brundle could have expected. He finished 5th in San Marino. Here is Senna. So now on lap leading. Piquet is in second place, Alboreto is third, Berger is fourth, Palmer is fifth, and up into the points, a very worthy Ivan Capelli in the march will be scoring his World Championship point and his team's first World Championship point. It won't be Capelli's first point because he finished in Australia the year before last. And look at that! The Lotus team cheering, and Senna takes the checkered flag, and Jonathan Palmer very sensibly stops behind him, which means to say that he has not got to do the extra lap. And the Monaco Grand Prix has been won by Ayrton Senna in the Lotus Honda, the first active ride victory in a Grand Prix for this pioneering Lotus suspension system, and I'm sure it won't be the last. Well, another magnificent drive by the Brazilian Ayrton Senna, winning here in Monaco from another Brazilian, Nelson Piquet. Victory for the Lotus Honda, second place for the Williams Honda, third and fourth places for Ferrari with Alboreto and Berger. In fifth place and winning the 3.5-litre class, Jonathan Palmer. Sixth, Ivan Capelli, the first point for March. And that means to say that in the Drivers' Championship, Alain Prost is still leading, but Senna is in second place with 15 points. Johansson moves down to third. In fourth position it's Piquet, fifth is Mansell, and sixth is Michele Alboreto. McLaren still lead the World Championship Constructors class, but by a lower number of points because Williams are now second, 9 points behind them, and Lotus are a close third with Ferrari fourth.
Ayrton, the last 2 weeks have proved that you have got many, many thousands of fans in Britain. Congratulations from all of them and from us. Are you as tired as you look?
No, I am better than I look, for sure. And to be honest, I felt good today for some reason. I had a good sleep and I had a good day right from the morning. I was quite relaxed. I didn't think we would win, but I felt good. When the race started and I saw that we were not in that bad shape, I just tried to keep everything alive and good for later in the race. To see Nigel going 8 seconds ahead and then not being able to pull away anymore, and then we were going away from the people from behind. So I was just trying to stay there and to leave the decision later in the race, but was very good.
Jonathan, you have driven a superb race. Your decision to move was fully justified.
Yeah, it's a circuit here that I really love. The streets, the tight corners, the fast ones, it's a real go circuit. There's no chance to relax, and it really inspires a driver, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
And there is no money in the world that can pay you to have such a good feeling. It was a long time since I last won a race, and I can tell you there is no money that can make you feel like that in the last 3-4 laps when I really thought we had the race, and fantastic feeling.
Well, victory for Senna and victory in his class for Jonathan Palmer, and it could well be that way again at the next Grand Prix, which is in 3 weeks' time at Detroit. Join us to see it on